Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really profound philosophical concept pulled straight from a fascinating Eastern source text. Honestly, it's essentially a masterclass in ethical leadership and self-improvement, and it is incredibly relevant to the world we live in right now. We're going to break down these ancient teachings step by step so you can really grasp exactly how they apply to your everyday life.
So, let me just start by asking you this. What does it actually mean to live the Dharma? It's kind of a heavy word, right? A lot of the time when we hear Dharma, we might instantly picture dusty scriptures, super rigid rules, or monks meditating in complete silence. But our source material today answers this question through a highly practical, surprisingly active lens. It completely challenges the whole idea that spiritual cultivation is just some theoretical exercise.
The absolute foundation of our text today boils down to a concept that translates to living the Dharma to lead by example and guiding people with virtue. Now, the text makes a massive point here. True belief isn't proven by how eloquently you can quote a scripture, it's proven by your personal actions and your moral character. It's all about embodying the principles you claim to hold dear rather than just, talking about them.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the core of Dharma, define what is guiding virtue, look at winning hearts, not forcing, explore the urgency of now, see how harmony starts at home, and finally, aligning words and actions. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The core of Dharma, beyond words.
The source text comes right out swinging with a really bold assertion. It argues that true spiritual cultivation isn't just about showing up at a temple once a week or reading a bunch of books. It is entirely about how you embody these teachings when you're just going about your day. Look at this quote from Holy Teacher Ji Kong. Dharma has no words. If you act well, people will say the Dharma is good. Think about that for a second. The ultimate, undeniable proof of any belief system is simply the positive behavior of its followers. If you act poorly, people are going to blame the doctrine. But if you act well, the doctrine proves its worth through you.
The original source details this perfectly. It explicitly states that right or wrong isn't just floating around in the doctrine itself. Rather, it lives entirely in the single thoughts and daily actions of individuals. You are the living, breathing representation of whatever philosophy you claim to follow. At the end of the day, your actions are the only metric that truly matters.
Section 2. What is guiding virtue? Cultivating from within.
So the text talks a lot about using virtue to guide others, but we really need to define what the source actually means when it uses that word. What is guiding virtue? Well, the absolutely crucial point here is that virtue isn't some sort of accessory. It's not a shiny certificate you can just buy, and you definitely can't obtain it from the outside world. The text clarifies that virtue is an inherent quality in our original nature. But because life is messy and complex, that virtue gets covered up over time. Because of that, it has to be continuously nurtured and brought back up to the surface through our own deep, continuous actions.
Section 3. Winning hearts, not forcing. The Mencius philosophy.
Now that we know what virtue actually is, why is it the go-to tool for guiding people? To explain this, the text draws on the philosophy of Mencius to illustrate a really stark contrast in human behavior. It's like this. Using force or power to lead only ever creates forced compliance. People obey you simply because they lack the strength to fight back, right? But underneath, that just builds silent resentment. Using virtue, on the other hand, leads to genuine, joyful acceptance and faith. Virtuous leadership doesn't demand obedience. Instead, it inspires this genuine transformation in people from the inside out.
Section 4. The urgency of now. Saving a chaotic world.
Okay, so why does all this matter so much right now? Well, Holy Teacher Ji Kong observes that the world is in a pretty deeply precarious state. The text makes a fascinating point here. Relying solely on scientific advancements and new weapons, that's not going to bring true peace. In fact, without a solid foundation of spiritual ethics, all our technological power could literally lead to mutual destruction. Science gives us the tools, but virtue gives us the wisdom to actually use them correctly.
The text imparts this really powerful call to action. Why not seek a way to rescue it? Discuss human ethics. Try to turn this world around so disasters disappear. So, practicing human ethics and living virtuously isn't just framed here as some nice personal hobby. It is quite literally positioned as the ultimate, necessary solution to global disasters and societal chaos. It's basically a life raft for a struggling world.
Section 5. Harmony starts at home. The story of Mu Tong.
So how do we actually go about saving the world with virtue? Well, you start in your own living room. The text gives us this incredible historical micronarrative about a man named Mu Tong from the Han Dynasty.
His family is caught in this bitter, days-long argument over an inheritance. Now, instead of yelling or using force to quiet everyone down, Mutong does something completely unexpected. He locks himself in a room, hits himself, and loudly blames his own lack of virtue for his family's bad behavior. Hearing this profound self-reflection, his family is immediately moved to tears. They apologize to each other, and harmony is instantly restored.
Mutong asked himself this agonizing question. I cultivate myself, but why can't I guide my own family to be correct? The major takeaway the text wants us to grasp here is that true Dharma absolutely must be brought into the family unit first. If you can't inspire the people sitting at your own dinner table through your virtue, there is no way you can inspire the world. Mutong proved that taking extreme personal responsibility inspires others to change, completely eliminating the need to ever raise a fist or force compliance.
And finally, Section 6, Aligning Words and Actions, the final application.
How do we actually make this our daily practice? The source text hits us with this striking, honestly pretty blunt quote to drive the whole point home. Speaking but not doing, what kind of cultivation is that? It is such a vital reminder that just having an intellectual understanding of a philosophy, it's totally meaningless without actual physical implementation. If your feet aren't moving, your words are just noise.
Let's quickly summarize the real actionable steps we've pulled straight from this text. First up, your words and actions must be strictly aligned, zero hypocrisy. Second, you've got to test your virtue at home. Dharma has to be brought into the family unit first. Third, take the Mutong approach. Fix your own flaws before you ever attempt to point out the flaws of anyone else. And finally, become a living example. That is literally the only way to inspire genuine, lasting change in the people around you.
I want to wrap up this explainer by turning all this ancient wisdom directly back to you. Think about your own life, your work, your family. Are your words and actions walking the same path? Are you using force, or are you truly guiding with virtue? This text challenges us to realize that the single most powerful way to change the world is to become a flawless example within it. Thank you so much for joining me on the explainer today, and I'll leave you to reflect on that very question.